So yes, so I'm from the RCT council team, helping support all the members of RCT Nature Partnership. And if you weren't aware of who they are, there's a few people on the call here. So Emma there's Coal Spoil Fungi, Mark's represented Glamorgan Fungus Group, and Alan's from Glamorgan Bird Group Club, and there's quite a lot of other organisations involved in the partnership as well. And this is basically our mission, is that we work together to plan and deliver action for nature in the county, and that can include various things: raising awareness and recording and managing and protecting nature, basically. So that group meets every 3 months as well, and you're welcome to join that one too if you would be interested in that. That's the more sort of technical side of things and involved in creating the plan. So that's this plan. I don't know if anyone's had a chance to have a look at it since the last time we met. So this is in consultation at the moment. So it's the RCT Action for Nature plan. This basically lays out where we are with nature at the moment in RCT, the current sort of status of nature in RCT, and then our plans to help it recover then. So it's worth having a look at that if you can. I thought I'd just show you this page, the community groups page, where we put a few suggested actions of things that community groups can do. Okay, right, I'll move on to the activities there then. So we've got a few suggested, as usual, a few suggested activities for the upcoming months. So we've got for March to April is Wales Outdoor Learning Week. So this is something that Natural Resources Wales, NRW, sort of run. It's an initiative that's mostly aimed at getting kids out of the classroom and into nature. So if you work in a school or you have kids in a school, it might be a good idea to see if the school has got anything planned. So they've actually got, Chloe's put the link in there. They've got loads of really good resources on there with ideas for lessons and activities that the schools can do. But then even if that you're not linked in with that, you can, you can still get involved with it. Basically, it's any excuse to get outside and learn about nature. So so this, for example, you could take local children out to do a bit of pond dipping. So there's a site, there's a link to how to do it safely and responsibly there, because you need to think about things like biosecurity and keeping your kit clean, that kind of thing. So yeah, so that's a nice week to get involved in. Loads of really good resources on those links. And then getting into April, then the nesting season is going to be well underway. So it's a nice activity to do, sort of get out and have a look for nests, even if it's just in your garden, but in your local green spaces as well. Have a look around, see if you see birds visiting back and forth to a certain bush or something, and you can keep an eye and you can record it on this nest recording scheme. So that's a nationwide survey. It's run by the BTO. So it's got provides really important information about bird breeding populations and inputs that like the habitat and the climate's having on success. So, and it's nice and easy one to get involved with. Basically, it's got everything you need on this link on the website. This is like a handbook and resources and things that make the process quite straightforward. Alan, I don't know if you've got any thoughts on the nest record scheme or any tips. Someone got.
Can I go back to the last one? I've got a project I'm working on with Pencoed College. That's included in the Outdoor Learning Week, would you think?
Yeah.
Colleges as well, with the HND students there. And while we're about it, for the started today actually, the Rook survey, I think it's a good one to promote. I think we're not asking people to go out yet because it's a bit early, but from mid-March to sort of into April, we're trying to do a nationwide Rook survey, but obviously in Glamorgan we're doing a rook survey as well. So I think it's an easy one to do because they're very obvious birds and you can usually see the nests. So there's been a big decline on that altogether. Yeah, and as for the nest record scheme, I think it might be useful to post somewhere the BTO codes. Now, the codes are, I've got them here actually. If the bird is present, it's a P, you know, if it's singing in S and so on. So I can send those on to you if you haven't got them, or they're easily accessible on the BTO website anyway.
Oh, that'd be useful. Thanks, Alan.
So if you see, like in that picture, there's a pair of bullfinches, you would record that as P or pair or H for habitat. So, you know, and it goes up a scale. If you actually confirm nesting, then you've got different codes that you use. So if you find a nest with eggs in, etc., you can put right up the scale for that.
Brill, be good. I've put the link. It's actually to yeah, not to your website, but there's a link to the rook survey in the chat because yeah, that's a good one for people to get involved in. Definitely.
This is different from nest monitoring, mind you. We've got a young lad just taken on that for his Duke of Edinburgh. It's a useful thing. Who's going to be monitoring nests in Bedlinog up in Merthyr. So if there's anybody who's got a student who's really keen, there is an opportunity for them to monitor. Now that's a weekly. You actually go to check nest boxes weekly, and it's a much more involved study, that one.
Good one to get involved in. Okay, thanks, Alan. Yeah, and then moving into May, then there's a really nice city nature challenge. I mean, you know, we haven't got many big cities in RCD at all, but you could do it for towns as well. And this was like started as a competition between San Francisco and Los Angeles. So it's an international effort for people to find and document plants and wildlife in cities across the globe. So it's kind of like a giant BioBlitz, and cities are competing against each other to see who can make the most nature observations, who can find the most species, and then who can engage with the most people as well. So that would be, it's quite good fun, a nice competition, good opportunity to improve your ID skills. So there's no reason why, you know, you can't encourage people to join in with that. Even if we're not talking about cities. So that's a really nice, easy, fun one. And then there's lots of nice bird ones over the summer. It's International Dawn Chorus Day on the 1st of May. So basically you're encouraged to set an early alarm. You can open your window or you can go out into a local wilder space and just listen to the birds. It's, you know, you don't even need to know what they are to enjoy it, basically, but you can sort of go through the scale at the first. Alan knows more about this than me, of course, but you know, the first things that are going to sing are the things with the nice big eyes that can see earlier in the morning. So the blackbirds and the song thrushes are usually the first to start, and then the smaller birds start. Then there's, I can't remember the order now, Alan, which is how do they go? It's like warblers last, isn't it?
Yeah, you'll find the blackbirds and thrushes first, and then it comes down to things like wren, robin, etc. after that. Yeah,
it's lovely.
And then warblers. Yeah,
it's one of the nicest things, isn't it? Because it's, you know, you can just take a cup of coffee out, sit in the woods, and it is really worth the early alarm for sure. And like I say, you don't even need to know what you're hearing, but there's lots of really good, you know, Chloe's put a link in there, how to identify bird song. So you can familiarise yourself with them or even listen to them as you're going along. But yeah, definitely you can familiarise yourself first with the most common ones. So your song thrushes, your blackbirds, the wren, and that at least will give you an idea of what you're hearing. And you can list them. I think there's an International Dawn Chorus Day website, and you can link your events, upload your events on there as well. So it's a good way of raising awareness. Then obviously we can't talk about May without talking about Mow May now. So most of you have probably heard of it. It's gained a lot of traction in the recent years. It's not so much an activity, it's more of a non-activity. So you just stop mowing for the whole month and see what comes up in the lawn. So that's a really nice one to encourage your friends, your neighbours, your whole community to do, really. It can be a huge help. And at the end of the month on the bank holiday weekend, you do everyone does an Every Flower Counts survey. And you discover how many there's a really nice calculation on the Plant Life website then where you can put in how many flowers you found, and it gives you a sort of rough estimate of how many bees that your lawn feeds. So it's really nice, gives you a personal nectar score, which you can share, and again that could be quite a nice competitive thing to do in the community. So there's more information about that there. I think you might need to sign up or something, but it's worth doing, definitely. And end of May, again, another nice little activity. Well, it's World Bee Day, so it's a good one to hang lots of events and activities off. But one of a nice activity to encourage people to do is only takes 10 to 15 minutes, and you can do it anytime between April and September. And that's the UK pollinator monitoring scheme. So this little video, hopefully it works, but it will show you how to do one of these flower insect timed counts. It only takes 10 to 15 minutes, and there's some links at the bottom that show you how to do it as well. But fingers crossed you can hear this, but otherwise I will link to the video. It's only a minute or so long. I don't know if everyone saw it, so it doesn't sound like Tara could see it, but I'll do a link to the, sorry Dawn, you couldn't see it as well. I'll do a link to the video so that you can watch it. It's just a bit of an overview of how it works. I don't know if you could hear the annoying music, but it's a blessing for you if you couldn't. But it's got a really nice guide as well, which I think is quite useful for the different pollinator species. So that's this long link here. Do the usual. I'll send around the slides as a pack afterwards. Yes, Wales Nature Week will be back. It's usually around the end of May, the start of June, and there'll be lots of activities going on. It might change around the dates this year actually, but we will keep you in the loop about that anyway. So it's always good to link into that. And then people have probably heard of this as well. Tara might be able to chip in on this. It's the whole month of June is 30 Days Wild. So that's the Wildlife Trust annual challenge, to do one wild thing a day through the month of June. So there's loads of activity ideas on that. You can get a nice pack as well with usually like, I don't know, stickers and things like it in there, but a calendar that you can fill in to say what you've done each day. So that's a really nice activity too. I think, yeah, the link's on there too. And it's World Environment Day then on the 5th of June, and the theme this year is Only One Earth. So that is focusing on living sustainably in harmony with nature. So you know, there's lots of things you could do around this, sort of finding out what your carbon footprint is, doing commitments to reduce your carbon footprint, doing workshops on mending items of clothing or swap shops and things like that. And then there's lots of simple things you can do at home as well, like, you know, committing to buying less things than you don't need and buying secondhand, and installing water butts, lots of all these individual actions that you can take. So there's a link to that here on World Environment Day. So yes, so that's the usual calendar of all the days to link in with. There's lots more dates coming up, and not all of them are confirmed. But yeah, that's the rough guide of when they're going to be this year. And at this point, I just wanted to make you aware of the equipment that we've got, that the local nature partnership owns as the partnership, and you can borrow it from the nature partnership. You sort of just have to sign it in and out, but you can borrow it if you want to do a particular type of survey, or just have a play around and see what you think of it. So we've got some hedgehog footprint tunnels. So that's ones that you put food in the middle, and they've got ink pads on them, and then, well, you put an ink pad either side of the food, and then a sheet of paper so you can see the footprints of what's visited the food in the night. So that's a really nice simple one. We've got bat detectors with sort of guide sheets for them as well. Camera traps if you wanted to see where something what's visiting an area in the night. A couple of hay rakes which you could use for meadow management, and we have got a moth trap as well, which is moth trapping is, you know, it's really, you don't have to be an expert at all. It's just amazing to see the diversity of moths, and there's a couple of really good books you can get as well to help you ID things, but it's amazing just to see what turns up as well. So if you're interested in borrowing any of that equipment, you can it'll probably go to Kate, but that's the email. It's best to email the Parks Countryside email address at RCT Council. They've got the sort of sign in, sign out sheet, and they'll have all the equipment in Hetworth Park, probably down the south. So that will be, yeah, I just wanted to make you aware of that, because they're there, and the more people that are using them, and the more records that you can send into the partnership and to Subrec, then the better, isn't it? We know a bit more about the nature of RCT. Elaine, do you want to chip in?
Yes, if I can work how to unmute on here. Just to say that we've also got a grant scheme, Subrec, so it's up to £500, and we've mainly been funding capital items like moth traps and stuff. So if you've got a group that you're working with, or if you're an individual recorder and you want to buy something to help you record more, we do have a grant scheme for that. I'll put the link in the chat for that.
Yeah. I've just done it for you, Elaine.
Oh, brilliant! Thank you.
Love your earrings as well. Yeah, happy St David's Day.
Yeah.
Hectic day. I've not known it to happen on the same day before. Brill. Yeah, like the moth traps definitely worth borrowing and having a look at the moment. You know, they're just sitting there doing nothing, so do make sure you take advantage of that. And then there's a few events coming up that I just wanted to make you aware of. There's a Lost Peatlands volunteer event, so I'm leading this one actually, so it'll be a bit of a wander around. I don't know the site very well, so we will just be ambling around and looking for reptiles, as long as the weather's nice. Hopefully it will be. So the idea of that is it will sort of give you an idea of how to look for reptiles and a bit of the ecology of reptiles and things as well. So if you wanted to book onto that, this is the link to do that. There's links from the Lost Peatlands Facebook page as well. Tara, did you want to jump in?
Hi, yeah, sorry, I was just going to ask about the SUBREC funding, whether that would be available to students doing master's courses for the Healthy Hillsides or related to the Healthy Hillsides project.
I'm not sure. You'll have to send me an email. I think we're trying to keep the money for sort of community groups or existing recorders. So if it's a brand new person, just a single person, it might not work. But they could email us and we can talk to them about it.
Okay. Right, thank you.
And then this is related to you as well, actually, Tara. There's this Wilder Health event coming up, which is we've funded through the LMP fund. So that fund is now gone if you were thinking of applying to it, but that's coming up next week, a volunteer event at Clydach Vale Country Park. I don't know if you've got any other events coming up, Tara, with Healthy Hillsides.
We're planning them at the moment, so this is the next confirmed one. We're considering doing one as well in combination with the Llantrisant Town Council Spring Bazaar. Okay. So that would be on the Llantrisant Billy Wint. And then there's a potential that we might be doing something with Clydach Vale Trust as well on the 26th of March, and we will be continuing the Wilder Health, but we just haven't got fixed dates yet. And they will be sort of hopefully across our 7 sites, but more focused obviously on the RCT ones. So that'll include the Clifton Row Porth site as well, as both of the Penreese ones.
And
yeah, I'll share those with you once we have them.
Brilliant. Yeah, so we'll get them sent around once they're all set up.
Thank you.
Brill.
Okay. So drop in a bit.
Yeah, of course. Sorry.
On the Lost Peatlands, I know May Morris had a meeting with Mike Shuring last week, I believe it was, and they're looking for BBS volunteers, breeding bird survey volunteers, for the site. I think there's 2 sites they want to do. I think we've allocated 1, but I think there's a BBS site in Treherbert. If anybody's got any contacts or keen to do a British breeding bird survey, please get in touch with the Lost Peatlands or with Wayne Morris at BTO.
Thanks, Al. Right, at this point I might stop the recording then and we can have a chat.